Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Lou Walters at the Source Wellness Center. This is a video on cold and flu season, what to do if you do get sick. So there's a other video that I did that you can see on what to do to prevent getting sick. This one is what happens if you do get sick, some things that you can do to help speed up your recovery. So I'll share the video here. So if you do get sick, here is a list of things to help speed up recovery. And we're going to go through each one at a time. So we've been conditioned in our society to take things, if we get a fever, like fever is a bad thing, we want to stop it, but we don't. Actually, fever is not the infection, it's your immune system responding to the infection, trying to physically cook the virus, as well as our immune cells and metabolism work at a better at a higher temperature. Studies have been shown that people who take anti-fever medications are actually sick 2.5 to 3.5 days longer. So we don't want to stop a fever. We actually want to encourage a fever. And it takes a lot of energy to get a fever. And if we don't have that vitality and we're struggling to get a natural fever, we want to artificially create one with heat, whether that be a hot tub, a sauna, or taking a hot bath to raise your body temperature to get your immune cells working better. An old-time naturopathic treatment that's highly effective is called warming sock treatment. And what that is either after a hot bath or a hot shower or soaking your feet in hot water for about 5 minutes, all that blood will pool at the surface. You take a pair of socks, you run them under cold water. You wring them out so they're damp but not dripping. You put them on your feet, and then you put a pair of heavy dry socks on top of those, and you sit or lay down and leave them on until your body warms them up. What that was going to do is that pooling of the blood initially, the cold socks will squeeze that blood back towards your core through your filters, through your lymph nodes, through your liver, through your spleen, and give your immune system a better look at what you're fighting. And then after about 10 minutes, the body's going to try to send that blood back to your feet to warm them up. So it creates this nice pulsing effect, improving circulation and giving your body a better look at what you're fighting to be able to knock it out faster. For little kids, I do what's called the warming t-shirt. It's basically the same thing, but with a t-shirt, and then we wrap them up in a blanket like a burrito to warm it up so that they get a full body effect. Soups and broths with fresh ginger and garlic root. So garlic and ginger have antiviral properties. They also help thin mucus. So we want to get a lot of that in with those fluids with that soup and broth. There are lots of herbs that help boost immune function, especially what's called a Th1 response. That's the ideal immune response for a viral infection. And then some of these herbs also have anti-cough properties as well as mucus thinning properties. So these are some of my favorite immune herbs for colds and flus. When I formulate them, I usually put them in combination to work synergistically together in a tincture that's specifically made for each individual patient. But any of these are fantastic. And then homeopathics for both kids and adults can be incredibly helpful when we're dealing with colds and flus. But it does take some knowledge to get the right remedy. So the remedies have different personalities or characteristics that we are looking for in the person and how they're responding to the infection. So for instance, belladonna is real commonly associated with fever, which is true. But everybody with a fever doesn't need belladonna. There's different types of fever. Belladonna fevers usually come on suddenly. They're real intense. There's often a throbbing component to it and sometimes some delirium to it, where aconite has a real intense fever, but those people tend to be real anxious and fearful. And they also, it usually has been triggered or comes on after an exposure to cold or a cold wind. Now, gelsemium, those people tend to be real exhausted and wiped out and have no energy. Mercurius can look similar, but they tend to be more sensitive or to hot and or cold, usually both, and tend to have more salivation and often some bad breath. Pulsatilla is a real common remedy in kids, usually thick yellow mucus. Those kids tend to be real clingy. They want to be held and lots of attention. Chamomilla can look similar, but they're a little bit more capricious and will push people away or ask for things and then not want them. There's some irritability to it. So you really need to know your stuff to get the right match with those remedies to get it right. And then general supportive supplements that I like to use. The best thing to thin mucus is water, but NAC, N-acetylcysteine, also helps with that. Vitamin C and vitamin zinc are great for the immune system. Conjuplex and Thymus PMG, a couple products, whole food products from Standard Process. Conjuplex also comes in a chewable, which is great for kiddos. And then Sino Lung Formula from NutraWest helps with sinus infections and respiratory infections. We're going to flow through some slides. Oh, one more thing is if you're sick and you feel like I don't want to deal with it on my own or I need extra help, feel free to please call the office and schedule an appointment. And I know when you're sick, you don't always want to go out of the house, so we can do a telemed appointment. We can manage this over the phone. The phone number to call to schedule an appointment is 406-551-6175.